Good evening, dear educators. Thank you all for joining us today. I warmly welcome you today to this year's final workshop session. The topic for today is digital content creation for educators. This workshop is brought to you by Teacher.in in collaboration with EdChat India. And this workshop's facilitator is super educator Amit K. Mehta sir. Now, before we get into the session, I would like to introduce the Teacher Network to all the new teachers who joined us today for the first time. Teacher.in is a professional network for K-12 educators where educators can connect with fellow educators, exchange ideas and resources, attend professional training development sessions like these, get upskilled, and use that to find high paying teaching jobs and other employment opportunities. Now, we call this the teacher revolution, and you can check out all these opportunities on teacher.in, teacher with an extra R. Now, moving ahead, we have some ground rules that we'd like you to follow so that we have a great learning experience throughout the session. So, the first and most important rule is please keep your mic on mute and your video off so that it saves your bandwidth and your learning experience is not hampered. Now, from our side, all the participants will be muted during the session. We request you to please type in all your queries and questions in the chat box. In case if you do not have access to the chat box, Amit sir will give you a cue, and that is where you can unmute yourself and ask the session. However, in all the remaining cases, we request you to please keep your question and answers for the end of the session because there'll be a dedicated Q&A session for the last 15 minutes. And the most important rule is that if you face any technical glitch, we request you to please stay calm and try joining the session again. We are recording the session from our side and we would be sharing it with you all post the session. Moving ahead, introducing our super educator of the day, Amit K. Mehta sir. Mr. Amit Kumar is an educator, researcher, and a trainer. He is working as a faculty cum trainer of computer science with NVS, Ministry of Education, Government of India. He is also acting as a trainer and a resource person of the spoken tutorial project of IIT Bombay, Ministry of Education, Government of India. In addition to this, he's also serving as a key resource person for implementation of ICT tools in educational curriculum with CIET, NCERT, Ministry of Education, Government of India. He is also associated as a researcher with the College of Information Science and Technology, Nanjing Forestry University, Nanyang, China. In addition to this, he's also the recipient of the prestigious National ICT Award 2015 from the Honorable President of India. It is an absolute honor to host you, Amit sir. Thank you so much for taking your time out to be a part of this session and sharing your wonderful knowledge with the educator community. I'm super excited because we are covering probably the most important topic when it comes to the digital content creation for teachers, given the entire shift to online education. This is probably the most relevant topic, and I'm super glad that we have scheduled this workshop for the last of this entire year. So thank you so much for once again joining us. I'm very excited about today's session. Over to you. Sir, can you unmute yourself? We're not able to hear you.
Is it okay? Is it okay, Varun?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
No, actually, when you share your screen on Teams, it automatically mute your video and audio. It's a key rule. It's a new rather learning here. So I'll be going with the start. Now, when we talk about digital content creation, our focus as a teacher is absolutely on our laptop or computer we have, uh, or the books or the internet, the resources available on the internet we have, or we access some courses from the internet or the ready-made material, and we want to sometime as a for the sake of creativity, we use our mind also to create new things around. But the thing is, we have to change our approach. Things like resources are already available on internet in abundance. We should know that. We should realize that. And when we talk about e-learning, so we should think from the student's perspective rather than putting up our own perspective. So it's like we have to think about the skills which are required today, what is in demand for various careers ahead, not we what we want to create. First of all, we will go with the demand, like are the students being well prepared for the world they will live in as adults? These are the questions we need to ask from ourselves first. What is the future of education? How will it support my education as well as my students' education? Uh, to design an education that will equip student to live and thrive in an increasing complex world. Our education system in general are rooted in models that were successful in past but not now. First, we have to understand what is required now, because uh, the world is very different what it was 30-40 years ago, and it is changing at very fast pace. Artificial intelligence or robotics or machine learning, these things are catching up. So but our education system is still the same. We are still teaching the languages, we are still making the student to memorize the lessons. So we have to think that the world out there is a VUCA world. it, it's called volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, right? So we have to change our mindset, we have to change our thinking before we design any e-content for them, right? So we know that 21st century workplace, ever-changing environments, and wide range of skills and competencies are required nowadays. Only memorization will not take our students ahead, but there are ample number of things which are required by them to be successful in the job market, as well as if they want to start their own business or they want to be an entrepreneur. So they have to they have to be trained after, but first they have to be aware uh, about the world, about the things which are in demand. So the best thing which what I recommend or I practice also, that students should be aware about the world problems, right? And all the world problems has been have been read rather compiled in a document of sustainable development goals by United Nations in 2015. Since then, most of the education as well as industry as well as your politics in means the whole governance in the world is inclined toward solving those problems. So we have to think on that line that our students should get aware about the world problems. They have to think out of the box. They should develop those soft skills as well as ability to solve the complex problems around. They have to become lifelong learners. They have to learn to collaborate with others, to coordinate with others to solve the world problems. Now, if we see that between 1995 and 2005, 3 million manufacturing jobs were lost in US, right? 17 million service sector jobs are created. This is a paradigm shift. This is a job market change. Now, it was like 15 year back, 15, 20, 25 year back, what happened? So we have to know what's going to happen beyond 2020. For that, uh, we are all well aware that classrooms are not the way they were used to. They have changed. So why not our teaching methodology and our ability to create content, and our thinking to create that content should change, right? So here is one of the important document I want to cite. It is the Future of Jobs Market 2018. It was published in 2018, but it contains the top 10 skills published by World Economic Forum, which are required to be successful beyond 2020 in the job market as well as in any business, or if anybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Even as a teacher, we need to develop these skills if we want to be successful in our profession. So the first is complex problem solving, right? As I've already talked, the students should be aware about the world problems, and I recommend Sustainable Development Goals documents by United Nations to be read by every teacher, referred by every teacher, if he want to bring the change in his classroom, in his content creation. Because if he be knowing what is in demand, then he will be working on that and benefiting his or her students in the classroom. So I'm talking about bringing the SDGs in classroom, because students have better ideas to solve those problems in the future, because we are one brain, but in our class we have 20 to 40 brains which can help us to resolve the big issues, right? Second is critical thinking and creativity. These are correlated kind of thing. Creativity we always talk about, but we always talk about thinking out of the box, right? As a teacher, we've been asked, we've been told sometime that think out of the box, or same thing we repeat to our students too. But actually, we are not allowing them to draw out of the line, out of the box even. So how can we ask them to think out of the box, right? We assess them on the basis of their drawing, which is coloring has been done within the lines. And if any color goes out of the line, we ask them, oh, you have made a mistake, we'll deduct your marks. But has anybody has any teacher of Picasso done that to him, he wouldn't have been a great painter, right? So we are the teacher, have that role to promote that out of the box thinking among the students, right? They should be allowed to practice their own ideas. We should encourage that. To solve one maths problem, there are ample of ways to do it. Being a computer science educator, I know a simple program of comparing three numbers can be solved in n number of ways. Then why should I force my favorite method on the kids? Why should I ask them to solve the problem in a particular way when it can be solved in other way also, which may seems easier to the students, Why I'm putting the pressure on their mind that you should, you will get marks only if you do it in that way, right? This thing as a teacher, we need to adapt and change. People management. This is not told in any business school. Uh, we are talking about K-12 educator. This skill is not taught to us in any college, university, school. This is, we need to inculcate through assigning projects to the students. And fifth one is coordinating. They should be coordinating, collaborating on those projects to solve those problems. So a group leader should be told to manage his troops in the classroom to complete a particular project. All the students should be coordinating with others, solving a particular problem. This inculcation has to be done by us in the classroom. Emotional intelligence, we should value them. Now, we should inculcate the judgmental and decision making as well as service orientation among the students, right? See, if we observe ourselves, we sometimes stuck and we see at the others, our peers or our bosses, for allowing us to make a decision. So we always depend on other people that before taking a decision we refer, right? Or but if we have own ability to judge the things on our own and take our control of our decision making, that is the thing which is in demand in future. Service orientation, how can I help you? This attitude must be developed in the students right from the classroom, and we as a teacher are the lighthouses which those who will do that, right? Negotiation, this particular skill is maximum time discouraged by our society, but this is most important in the coming era. Why? See, earlier I remember myself that when I used to go with my mom, then with my sister to the open market, then with my wife to the open market to purchase anything, and they always start negotiating for it. And I said, and I often feel embarrassed, and I come home and have an argument with them that why you people embarrass me in the market, because you are always negotiating for small things. It was my thinking, but they have another thinking to buy n number of other things from the saved money. And this technique or this skill ingrained in the minds of ladies, we believe in our Indian means like education or Indian society. But nowadays, most of the CEOs or important positions in the corporates are being captured by the ladies because of this very skill, service orientation and your negotiation. These are two important managerial skill or the skills of the 21st century, like cognitive flexibility. As I already told that world out as VUCA world, it's volatile, it's ever changing environment. So our brain should have the flexibility to adapt to the new environment, change if there are any outside, absolutely fast, right? So these are the skills which an educator should keep in his or her mind before designing any content for the students, whether the content is in the form of text, images, or your video or audio, or it may be a flipped classroom content, right? But we have to think out of the box ourselves also, that we should work the opposite way. We should work the way like what is required in the market, then we inculcate such skills in our classroom. We bring such things in our classroom that they, as a citizen of the future, should get benefit, and at large they should benefit the society. right? So in all these skills, still we have some core skills like problem solving and innovation. Innovation includes creativity and critical thinking, and again the global awareness. I again stress the point. Think about bringing the SDGs into your classroom, right? Next is the knowledge construction. Obviously, as you have already understood this now, skilled communication. Communication is another skill which is very important for the students for their future. Now, when we talk about communication, we always talk about speaking good English or a command over a language and uh, presenting yourself in a better way. But actually, it only, I guess, 30 to 32% of your communication is your language. Everything else is a lot more things: personality, your how you are taking the ideas to people, how we are doing presenting. Many things are there beyond a language. So we should understand that first and then communicate the same to our students also. Now, next is self-regulation and assessment. That in that actually is very important. And then the last, collaboration. We have to motivate our students to participate in the projects, and we'll be in the today and tomorrow we'll be talking about collaborative things. Tomorrow particularly we'll talk about how students can work collaboratively, and a teacher, by creating a small piece of content, can actually teach whole chapter by involving his student to develop their own content or create their own content. Okay, so this is how innovative teaching practices go on. This is all about student-centered pedagogies, extending the learning and embedding ICT, right? It should be a 24/7 process, opportunity full of knowledge construction, collaborativeness, and self regulations. We'll talk about in detail. Now, I'm just following my presentation with another one. Now, when we start creating e-content, we have a mindset that going to internet, picking up some piece of data in the form of images, videos, or text, and we start making our own content. We think that everything available on internet is our own property, but it's not the case. In today's session, we'll be particularly talking about this thing, that e-content development has a serious implication, right? And this implication on your screen is very important. That is ethical issues. We'll be talking about them. We'll be talking about the Creative Commons licensing also, right? So intellectual property rights, right? We know that it refers to creation of intellect or mind, such as invention. It may be literary or artistic work, or a design or symbols, names, as well as images which are created by someone, right? And they are used for commercial gains, right? Intellectual property rights are the rights of the owner to protect his own intellectual property, that the exchange, sharing, or the distribution of his intellectual property will be decided by him or her only. The owner has every right to decide the price at which it should be exchanged, shared, or distributed. I don't know whether much of you know this, that the biggest IPR scam of the century is the Facebook, right? And go out there and watch a movie called Social Network, right? It's on the life of your Mark Zuckerberg, who actually created Facebook. We think that, but it was a intellectual property of someone else, and later Mark Zuckerberg paid heavily for it. But at that time, it looked heavily, but with his vision, he made it many folds even after paying the IPR, means offensive charges also. So even if you think that even Mark Zuckerberg had to pay a big amount for breaching the intellectual property rights of someone, then what are we? We are nothing, right? So IPR protection, the owner has every right to protect his or her intellectual property, and to protect one's intellectual property rights, they can have information copyrighted, patented, or trademark, as we always see, and there are acts which protect your copywriting, whether you are creating your own or whether someone is using your content, your intellectual property without your permission. There are laws to uh, protect the intellectual property, right? So be aware of all these laws. Patent Act are there, Trademark Act is there, Design Acts are there, Geographical Indication of Goods Act are there, and Copyright Amendment Act 2012 is more powerful these days, and many suits has been filed in India also. So why intellectual property rights? See, when we are creating something, we obviously want some appreciation or some recognition for that. Sometimes we can also sell that for any commercial gain, right? But if there would be no intellectual property rights, then anyone can copy our resources, our information, our data, and pretend that it is his own and gain commercially from it. So these need to be protected for everyone, for us also, for others also, whosoever has created. It encourages individual and businesses to create new software, products, and their applications, and even improving the existing product application. If you have created something, you will you are protecting, you're getting protection for your intellectual property, and you're getting commercial gains also. You are not anybody is not copying your material, then you will be motivated to improve it, right? If anybody steal your material, you won't be motivated for this, and you will feeling bad or negative to create any new content or improve it further, right? And it ensures that new ideas and technologies are widely distributed. It promotes investment in the national economy. Intellectual property of the creator shows his competence also, and establishes legal and valid ownership, which he or she can sell or license for commercial gains, right? Now we are talking about an important issue, that is plagiarism. And according to Federal Office of Science and Technology Policy, they have a definition for it. Like, plagiarism is appropriation of another person's idea and processes the results or word without giving appropriate credit to him or her. That posing someone else's idea to as our own idea, it simply means cut and paste, right? Control C, copy and paste, right? Basically, plagiarism is stealing without citing the source of the information, right? So it can be of two types, accidental as well as the deliberate plagiarism. Accidental, which involve careless paraphrasing, changing the words and sentences, construction of a copied document, and quoting text excessively along with the poor documentation. Whereas the deliberate is like, that includes copying someone else's work, cutting and pasting block of text or any kind of media, audio, video, or any files or media clips also from electronic source without documenting, at the same time publishing on the web, that without the permission of the developer or the creator, right? So we have to be aware with this, what can be plagiarized. Literally everything on your screen can be plagiarized according to Higher Education Academy UK, right? So any of the following act would be termed as this plagiarism. Okay. Using someone other's author's work without giving credit to the author, right? Using someone else's work in incorrect form than what it was intended for. Modifying or lifting the someone production, such as music composition and all, and without attributing the creator, right? Even incorrect and correct incorrect source of information is also, wrong citation is also kind of plagiarism, right? Failure to credit or acknowledge the contribution of the creator. So it's an offense, 100%. It's a civil wrong, criminal offense. A civil suit may be instituted, or criminal charges may be filed, which are punishable offense. Now, you'll be thinking like, what I'm talking about. Actually, this part is very important, because I have seen people coming from very up to very down, because they ignored this simple part of content creation before they actually created something, right? So how to avoid the plagiarism? You use your own idea first thing, or if you have to use someone else's idea, cite the source when someone else's idea is used, right? Now rewrite the other's idea in your own word. Don't use exact words also, right? Now cite the name of the website or the URL or the name of the author. Acknowledge them that they have created it with minor changes even, right? Use bulleted notes instead of copy pasting the direct paragraph from the source. If by any chance it becomes necessary to use someone exact word, then quote them, and also give credit with insight in text citation, right? Use plagiarism checkers to checkers like cross check and Turnitin to avoid any accidental plagiarism, right? So correct incorrect citation also, like use your own work in context, acknowledge work of others, and credibility and accuracy of scientific literacy, right? So these are references from my to pick this whole thing. Now I'll be coming to my another presentation, which is very important again, that is Creative Commons. Now everyone will be thinking like, oh, he's talking again about copying and pasting. We all know these things, but this is to be known by everyone. Actually, what happened like last year, one of my fellow national awardee, he committed this small mistake. He created a wonderful content for the primary school kids, and what happened was, he just used a he was looking for a fancy cover page, right? So everything inside that book was his own, created by his student with his help, only for the sake of fancy cover and something uh, which should attract many people. He went to internet and downloaded an image that was of Mickey Mouse, right? So he just pasted on the cover page and promoted the book, and submitted to the Department of Education and State. They were very happy with his work. So, but and when everyone was happy, he just means his work was appreciated. So he just floated the book across the internet. Only the cover page, that wasn't his creation, because the Mickey Mouse cartoon was taken from internet without seeing its licensing conditions, right? So he just cropped it and used it on the cover page. So what happened, that in a span of 1 month or something, he got a notice from your Disney people, and the amount was in 7 figures in Indian rupees, that crores, no? So it was a claim by them that you have used a copyright image of which was creation of Sir Walt Disney, and you have been identified to pay this amount to our company, as you have breached the IPR policy and copyright issues, and so a big letter came. So then he approached his Department of State. They just couldn't do anything. Then the matter went to the ministry. It was a matter of it's a big issue, right? So later, because he was a national awardee teacher, also it wasn't done means like intentionally. It was an accidental thing, because it was only on cover, everything inside. So Moreover, luckily, he didn't uh, mm, published it for any commercial gain. It was only promoted for the sake of education. So this matter was explained by many national bodies to the Disney people that this wasn't for the commercial gains, and the teacher's intentions was absolutely fair, and there was nothing to do. It was all accidental. So what happened that after so many months of communication with the Disney people, they let him go. But it was a serious thing, right? So these small things are cardinal rules which we all have to follow before creating any piece of content. That we should know that, see, we may also be making mistakes, but keep learning from those mistakes. That is what is important. Initially, I wasn't aware about these things, so I might have also created some content like that. But the time since when I'm aware of this thing, I'm trying my best to avoid any act of plagiarism or violation of IPR Act or violation of Copyright Acts, and spreading the word also to among all educators that everything available on internet is not our property. This may be the property of people who may claim for it. So better to be aware, right? So we'll be talking about Creative Commons. So Creative Commons licenses, uh, obviously several public copyright licenses that enable free distribution of an otherwise copyrighted work. The Creative Commons license is used when an author wants to give other people the right to share, use, or build upon a work. Whenever we go to internet, many available uh, maximum educational content, uh, we see a license on the bottom of that website or a page. So they are like the CC BY, CC NCSA, CC BY SA, CC BY ND, CC BY NC, or CC NCND, right? All these kind of licenses are displayed on the bottom of the web page normally. And on the basis of the license they have used, we may use the material for directly or quoting the source, or we cannot use the material. Everything is communicated through that license. We just have to understand the licensing thing, right? And the first one is our CC BY license. This license lets others redistribute, remix, adapt, or build upon your work, even commercially, as long as they credit you for the original creation. Means the author has created something, we can use, remix, adapt upon his work, and we can also use it commercially. But we have to give the credit to the original author or the creator. It's the most accommodating license offered, actually. So most of our NCERT or national resources in education have these licenses, right? So next one is CC BY SA, that is share alike. This license lets you remix, adapt, and build upon your work, even for commercial purposes, as long as credit has been given to the license. But the only changes, the creation should be shared identically. No means like identical terms should be used. There should be no modification of the original creation in that sense. And this license is often called as copy left, in opposite to the copyright, which is free and open source software licenses, right? The next one is ND license. Means this license lets other to reuse the work for any purpose, including commercially, however, cannot be shared with others in adapted form, right? And credit must be provided to you. This is no derivatives, right? And NC, no non-commercial. This is basically one can remix, adapt, or build upon your work, but he cannot basically use it to for his commercial gains, right? So they don't have the license their derivative works on the same terms in that sense. Next one is NC and SA when they are mixed, like non-commercial and vessel share alike. This license is a bit restrictive, means like remix, adapt, and build upon any one work is possible, but non-commercial, we cannot get the commercial gains from them as long as the credit you and your license for the new creation under the identical terms, right? Share alike means identical terms should be maintained. And the next one, which is the most restrictive license, NC means non-commercial, uh, ND means no derivatives possible, right? So this is when ND and NC are combined, this is a very restrictive license, right? So only allowing others to download your work and share them with others as long as they credit you, but they cannot change. No remixing, no adaptation is possible in this, right? And in any way, they cannot be used commercially, right? And here is like attribution means by, ND means no derivative works, SA means share alike. We have to distribute the things identically, and next is NC means non-commercially, right? So here we go. CC 0, where you don't reserve any right to anything. It's also the most freely built upon license. This is right. So here we goes. Here we go with this most open license is like start from 0, and more and the least open is like by NC and ND. Now, by the time you know how the things are working, right? So here, so we talked about all these things. We talked about the cardinal rules. Now comes the creation part, right? So we'll be talking about, we'll start with how to make effective presentation content, right? I'm talking about the presentations which you make, which you design for your students in PowerPoint presentation, or you use Impress, or you use any other platform to build upon. So they are like Google Slide you may use. We'll talk about them. But first, what are the effective, what are the basic rules to make effective presentations, right? First, we'll talk about the title slide whenever you use it. It should convey the message loud and clear. Obviously, the title is bigger. And avoid writing the whole story on the title slide. Mention your name always on the title slides. It's important that you have created it, and keep background screen as simple as possible on the title. These are the thumb rules, right? So sometimes we want to tell a lot of things on the title slides, so we should avoid that, right? Now comes the font size. It should not be so big or so small. It should be readable, and fancy styles are not recommended when we are creating a content for educational purposes. They should be readable, loud and clear. Funky and fancy styles are normally considered anti-academics. Right. Now, use of bullets and shapes instead of the paragraphs. This is educator guide to know that how you can make presentation by this is a whole paragraph. Whatever there is in the paragraph is down there in the form of the bullets. What you would like to read in this slide, I have used bullets instead of paragraph. It will make effective presentation. It should be loud and clear and make shapes for important points, right? These 4 points are there in the textual paragraph, but you observe yourself that what you preferred to read first. Your main focus was to read the points first, the bulleted points first, or maybe before that you wanted to read this information on your right hand side, which was there in the form of a shape, like schools will remain closed till 12th Feb 2021. in HP. This is important notice. So whenever you use shape, I would say infographics, right? A graphic which is conveying some information. This is very, very important. A picture is worth 1,000 words. This is an old saying, but this is the most important saying when we develop e-content, right? Whenever we develop a presentation, the first thing, try to make a picture with information. That's an infographic, like I've done on the right hand side, and then go for the bulleted point as I've done that. Avoid using long and small text paragraphs, right? Next thing is use license free images. This is very important. I have told whole story here. I would like to quote another one also. One of my another friend, another fellow national awardee, he shared with me that last year 2019 he made a mistake by copying a logo of a company, and he just inverted that logo. Yes, it was like, I don't want to quote exactly. It was like WWF has a logo called W, but the company who wanted to design a logo, they came to my friend and they asked him to means like design some familiar logo, but that should be suitable to their company. Their company name starts with M. So he just inverted that WWF logo to make it M. And you won't believe, he designed the logo for his friend who was owning industry, and the friend published thousands of stickers, as well as the logo was printed on website, everywhere, like on the company boxes, products, everywhere it went. And after 6 or 7 months, when whole the marketing is being done, everything is on the road, then a notice came from US, from the WWF, that's Worldwide Wrestling Federation, that you have used the inverted version of our WWF logo. So can you imagine what was the gravity of that thing? They have to change everything right from scratch. And what a trauma he has to face for a few months. It was unimaginable. He was thrown out of job and many things happened, right? So this is very important. So Pixabay is a website. There is an example, but I'll be talking about license-free websites, images rather. Whenever you go to Google, right, you may type this license-free images. You will get many websites listed there. Unsplash.com is one of them. Pixels is one. Pixabay is one of them. This is the mostly we prefer. Free images is also there. Pixabay is being used. You will see there are free images which are royalty free as well as license free. So you can go to these websites at least to remain safe, right? Because earlier there was a feature in Google when you search an image and go to tool, and over there in tool there was license free images was a drop down button, but now it has been removed by the Google because of certain number of cases, right? So now they are also means like saying that search on your own. We don't take onus of that. So whenever we are creating any few content, use license free or royalty free images. I think the message is again loud and clear, because we need images to make our presentation, that's for sure, right? So I'll be coming ahead. So here Pixabay is one of them. Now comes cite the source of information and images. You must have noticed this in my whole presentation slides, that whenever I take anything from any particular source, I cite that thing as source. As you can see down here, LibreOffice.org is the source. So it was like very important if you are using the other works into your report or presentation, etc. Let's see how you can cite. This is the example, right? You mention the source from where you have taken. Also take note of the licensing information. If Creative Commons licenses are there, then act accordingly, right? Use colors to emphasize any important point, like I have done in all my slides. Wherever I found that any important point have to be emphasized, I used colors, because color create immediate shift of our mind to that particular point, right? So it's a, because we all know the missing tile syndrome. I often remember this. One of the famous author quoted it, like when he went to a auditorium, so he just look up the roof, and there was a tile missing on the roof, and thousands of tiles were there which are intact. He was not looking at them. Maximum time, maximum people look on that missing tile, that why, what is the reason that it is missing. That's the uh, that is why it is called missing tiles syndrome. We focus on the things which look different. So in our slides also, the basic point is make the important point, colored one, to look different, to make the use of the missing tile syndrome of human beings, right? Use infographics. I'll be talking about them if the time permits, today or tomorrow. Okay, we have few minutes. Okay, so word clouds can be used by the teachers, can be created by the teachers, and we can also allow our students to do it. Let them create, because more interactive they feel, they will feel more involved into the lesson. I do it, and I get massively positive results, because allowing them to create is the most empowering thing a teacher can do, right? You can create mind maps or concept maps, and let your student create them, right? Create video tutorial yourselves, and allow your students to record their own videos or audios. Don't ever stop them. See, I just think in a layman way that if students are not liking the videos or audios, often we have our own perception. We think that we don't like audio videos into our classroom, so why we encourage the same in our class with the students? No, it's not the case. If it would have been the case, then TikTok wouldn't have been so popular, right? It had it was banned, like it was like going crazy. Students, kids were going crazy. They were making their TikToks, and even you see the revenue, how they have grown in the last 2 years. This TikTok people, or the Snapchat kind of platforms, because the kids in the teenage, especially, even I have my daughters which are 7-8 years, they are also doing it. They are more feeling more adaptive, more comfortable with the videos. They are creating them, they want to create them. So why we let them create a video for anything else, if they can create some useful resources for education purpose also. So video tutorials should be encouraged to be developed by the students also, right? So it was a small piece of thing that let the learning not be the fun, not be a burden. This is a small piece of word art, word cloud, which was just made. So I just we have some time. I'll be going to create some small piece of things, license free images one. Okay. So word cloud. Word cloud, to create a word cloud, we have several platforms, right? Whenever we create infographics, they can be created in many ways. One of the ways is word cloud, and word art is a wonderful platform to be exercised, and can be used easily by the students or the teachers to create a piece of information which can generate curiosity among the student, interest, because colors, shapes, these two things are to be remembered by us, that colored and shapes create curiosity, creates interest among the students. Then when we create any piece of content, try to get colors and shapes into it, and try to make maximum use of the human mentality of missing tile syndrome. Create odd one out things type, right? So here, like learning. Basically, I'll just type few things. Creative, critical thinking, creativity, more collaboration. Let me list down 10 important skills, right? Collaboration, communication, decision making, negotiation. Okay, size we can also decide, right? 21st century skills. I want to keep it size maximum, say 4 times the other or 3 times the others. So critical thinking, lab of complex problem solving. And your cognitive ability. Another more skill. Complex problem solving, cognitive flexibility, negotiation, collaboration, that is coordinating with others, critical thinking, creativity, decision making, communication, and one is your emotional intelligence. Okay. Right. Okay. So people management. See, maybe I want to create, I want to talk about top 10 skills in my classroom. So they are 21st century skills. I just want to focus on them. And everything is a size like one. And only 21st century skills is the main focus. So I want to learn, have a talk with the student about them. So I'll just, this is the text part. Now I'll choose a relevant shape according to the students in my class. If they are like kids, then I can go with another shapes. If they are grown-ups, I can select another shapes. It depends upon us that what are the kind of students with which we are dealing with, right? Some are some more like animals, Halloween, geometrical shapes are there. Many shapes are there. There are many types of clouds. So we are talking about clouds. I think we should be going with the clouds only, or anything else. If we're talking about the future, there are n number of shapes we can choose. Okay, Christmas was yesterday. Otherwise, I would have used that also. So I'll be using a simple cloud. You may try your own. I will show you how the student respond to these things. Right. This is a simple cloud. Okay, done. Shape is done. Now font. Font you want to select. Okay, a tattoo font. I'll select this, or maybe a simple, the way you want to. I'll make this nanoscience Chinese. Layout, vertical, horizontal, whatever you want, right? After this, and that any style, color, emphasis, and all, you have an option. Background is black or whatever you want. It depends upon you actually. So we'll just keep it simple. So there are several parameters, and then we visualize what we have created. It will take few seconds as per your internet connection, as the tool is online, and it will create a piece of art, which where you have chosen a shape, you have put an information into this, and you may ask the students to create their own also, because when they create, they actually memorize better, they actually think. So this is the piece of art which has been created on the right side, right? So when you put, you can just print it, you can just save it, it depends upon you. You can share it also, you can just download it in the form of a n number of formats are there, like jpg and all, like it there are some few uh, free ones also, standard jpg and standard your, this is all free, this is not a paid tool, right? I'll just click it, want to open it for you. So this is the piece of information you created. You kept the size 21st century skills as thrice of others. Remaining all 10 skills are means lesser size. It depends upon you to focus on a particular skills or particular piece of information you can create. I shared this simple tool with the student to memorize a particular chapter. I just asked them that I have created something. We'll read a chapter, we'll read a story, or we'll read a particular means like I'm a computer science teacher. I teach computer networks. I teach many things, and they created something. I'll just show you how they created. They expressed themselves. Someone created this because this piece of information created by a student, right? This convey a lot of meaning to a teacher also, right? He sees it like, oh, so he is more emotional, right? He's thinking in a different way, right? Someone has created this. She's created like practicing her name, even Anshika. This is like flow of control. I was teaching in Python, and in that particular chapter, there was a means on a particular day, I just taught something and I asked everyone to memorize the same with the help of word clouds, and this is how things have been presented to me. Someone came up with that also, because he is feeling the teenage part within him, right? Someone came with artistic thing like this, and if you see, they're all done by them. Someone is coming with this, something globe, someone coming with the idea, someone coming with this. See, he is also creative, he is also informative. See how they are creating things. Boolean algebra, I taught, they are making this thing. Someone is feeling like the teenage power in his own way, so he's showing me that, right? But it is okay, allow them to exercise the same and the freedom. This is one example to create a piece of content. But the first thing, as we are coming to the closure and QA round, see, few things to remember. Whenever you do anything, don't go on internet in a rush and choose Google anything and download it for your own purpose without seeing the licensing information or the IPR issue, taking that into consideration, right? Don't try to create everything on your own. Let your students to create for you also, right? They can do wonders, right? You do one thing and then allow them to do another thing. They will surprise you rather, right? I'll show you some more things like this is just a word cloud, right? So there are a number of platforms. One I don't know, many of you must be knowing, that is FreeMind is a wonderful tool to create mind maps. And nowadays, like many online platforms are there which are being used to create mind maps. So creating mind maps, there are like free plane or free mind, and mind mapping is a proven technique to increase the memorization power. Mindminster is a wonderful app also available, and you can create your lucid chart as one, mind maps is one. There are many free like this thing features available. I'll just show you what student can do and how they surprise you. I just allowed them to create mind map. Mind map is actually a techniques to increase your memorization power. So students just absolutely surprised me with I just allowed them to practice many tools that you just use any tool to memorize the chapter, and mind map is the keyword which you have to go with. And they discovered new tools. One or two of them discovered three-dimensional tool. I was teaching something. I'll just this is a wonderful mind map on component of computer networks created by the students. This is how it looks, right? A bit, but when I just zoom in, right, I can see he is writing the definitions. He is knowing that what are the various computer networks, what are the equipment, and he's going further. Examples, 1, 2, 3. He's all remembering the whole chapter here. I was so astonished to see that, right? Another one. See here how the things are moving. Components of computer network by other student. Communication channel, wireless and wired. Connection established to network wired. Means there's a concept map actually. So he's creating like twisted pair cables. He's giving examples of 1, 2, 3. This is all being done, but this is very important for them to memorize everything, right? See, memorization is the not top 10, not the technique, uh, which is not the skill which is listed in the skills required for the 21st century, but for memorization, you can use creativity and critical thinking and leverage the ICT to create something better. I'll show you one amazing thing also. Like this is another student who created this, and everyone is using a different tool. So it maybe seems very simple, but if you will go into deep, he has done remarkable job. He is actually what he has done. See, this is the whole picture which I could see. Wait, this is 800%. We're viewing it at 800%. He has also clicked the pictures of the book where that particular topic was there, that definition was there. When he talked about repeaters, he also inserted a particular picture of that repeater also, right? So this is the level of the creativity to which they go and create things. Students are much more advanced than we think them to be, right? So they are doing absolutely amazing job. This is the actual picture. It is being visible. He has created the whole. He has just this is a big chapter, a big unit rather. He just got the whole unit at one place with example. He's talking about the like he's talking about a particular cable. He just inserted a picture from his book, right? And he's talking about optical fiber. He got a picture for it. He's talking about coaxial cable. He's got a picture, right? He did everything. Like, see how they do it, right? This is not created by me. It is done by the students. I created a small sample for them that this is the best way to memorize, and they told me how it can be done in a better way. So while you are creating the content, it is not mandatory that a teacher should create content. The content can be created by the student by allowing them to exercise their creativity also, right? So this is the onus we are having as a teacher, and we should be proud that we are uh, given the responsibility of a teacher and by the God Almighty. And I believe that all This positive thinking is required to create a content. And tomorrow we'll be talking about more content creation tools, as well as the dissemination tools, how to create video content, how to create another piece of information, infographics, and various tools. But the thing is, what is the mindset you are carrying when you are creating a content? Are you aware about the 21st century skills? Are your students aware about the what is required in the marketplace? Are they aware about the world problems? Are they thinking in terms to solve them? And tools are there on the internet, it's for sure, right? We have ample of tools. We lack awareness. We should increase the awareness among ourselves as well as among our students to make it possible. The creation will come automatically, actually, right? So I think I'm done here, and I'm open here for QA round, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Dear teachers, you can post your questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand, and we can call out your name, and you can unmute yourself, and you can ask the question. Either ways, it's fine. So we have 20 minutes more for the session to end.
And one more thing also, Nikita ji, I'm coming back to you. I'll be sharing some means like what I have talked about in the form of small videos, as well as one or two assignments with you via your email today, and we'll continue with the same pace to take it further. Some video and text resources I'll be sharing through your emails, right?
Yes. So just 1 minute before, just so continuation of whatever you said. So dear teachers, we would be sending that all that information if you fill the feedback form, because we do not have some of your email addresses. So I request all the teachers to please fill the feedback form. The feedback form's link is given in the chat description, in the chat box as well. So you can go there and fill the feedback form as we proceed to the Q&A. Over to you, sir. Sorry. So, Ms. Nikita, you had raised your hand. So please, if you could, unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can you hear me, sir?
A bit, voice is a bit breaking, but you go on, please.
Okay, sir. So you basically talked about the creativity that we should have in our course, as well as let the student do the creativity.
Yes.
But we lack time and we lack resources sometimes. So how to juggle these things? Like, you understand, na? We have so many classes like that, and then we have so many courses, and you have to cover so many things. So when you are doing in that way, and you have to keep so much in mind, so how to balance these two things?
Actually, ma'am, it's like when you think about the 21st century skills, then you think about the tools which are required to make it possible, and then you map it with your syllabi, right? What I do first, I think that what skill I want to teach them. Then I choose a tool, and then I map my syllabus with that tool. That tomorrow I have lined up with me something called collaborative flipped classroom, that how to create a small piece of content and then let students create the rest it off for you as per syllabus as well. And I have practiced it, and it saved my time rather, and I could focus on many other students to take their query. Means like I select the skill I want to teach, then I select the tool I want to use, and then I map it with syllabus. I cover syllabus with the help of 21st century skills, and it can be done with the help of, as I'm telling you, collaborative flipped classroom. This is a wonderful, wonderful ICT approach to practice in your class, and you will be amazed that students are doing 70% of the role, and 30% will be left with you, and you will have everything. They will provide you everything, and they are also covering the syllabus also. Like I have marked like 4 or 5 units of my syllabus I have marked for flipped classroom, and that we do with the help of that. And flipped classroom is one way, and I'll be talking about that tomorrow in detail with example.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for answering.
Right.
Mr. P. Madhu, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, sir, this is Manu. What are the graphic softwares generally we use for in preparing a digital content, sir?
Okay, infographic. Like Adobe has many free tools. Adobe under their Adobe Creative Cloud.
Okay.
One you may choose, because if you want to create catchy content for your student to initiate anything, then to create infographic, I guess Adobe Spark is very good tool, and Adobe Spark is well enough to and it's free also on the cloud. And what are the other tools to create videos, audios? I'll be talking tomorrow also, but I think let me show you at least the name of the tools. Because to create your video presentation and all, you can take many tools into consideration. See, if you want to, I just want to share a screen with you all. Okay, wait.
Yes.
Here it goes. We'll be talking about only maybe few tools because the time constraint also, but still, I just want to share with something. See, for these are the tools which can be used to create slides, means like recorded lectures, as well as screen recordings for your live demos, right? Means like video presentation as well as your means like a normal presentation. We just talked about the basic rules today. We'll talk about the tools tomorrow. Flipgrid, how to create the video contents and how to engage students. We'll be talking it in the Flipgrid section, and how to engage student in collaborative flipped classroom. That will be talk about another way. And but to create your video content, there are 5 tools listed here. Loom is there, Screencastify is there, Screencast-O-Matic is there, Format Factory is there, OBS is there, right? And to create a slide, other than PPT, you have Google Slide and LibreOffice Impress, right? But the thing is that LibreOffice is free and open source software. It can be used and redistributed also. It can be modified also. There is no problem at all. So this is all free license kind of thing. Google Slide is not FOSS, but it is free to use. OBS is again free and open source software, but Format Factory is your free but not open source, and other tools are free up to some similar up to some extent. Like Screencast-O-Matic allows you to create a free video recording of your screen up to 15 minutes, and your Screencastify allows you to do it for 5 minutes, and Loom is also like 10 to 15 minutes, right? So they allows you free up to some extent, but OBS and Format Factory are absolutely free, and OBS particularly is free and open source software, right? So this will we'll be talking about them tomorrow also, but I'll be but the best and easy tool, because it will target on collaborative classroom as well as how to create videos, that is Flipgrid. I'll be talking about that tomorrow.
One more doubt, sir.
Please.
Sir? Yeah. Can you prepare one document for us, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be. I'll prepare one collection where you will find all the presentations in video form as well as in PDF form, and I'll be sharing the link with you all through mail, as discussed with Varun sir, and he'll you just fill that feedback form. Through that, your mail ID will come back to me, and by tonight I'll try to send you all the content which I have covered today through videos. We are means like have already created a content video and text during the COVID period for many teachers, and I'll be
Yes.
happy to share with you all.
Th-
No problem at all.
Yes, thank
Right.
you, thank you, thank you
Right.
very much.
Right.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can we use these tools for presenting a research paper?
Yes, absolutely. You can use it. Like research paper, you are presenting in recorded form. Means
No,
if
sir, through PPT form.
yes. It's called screencasting. We'll be talking about it tomorrow.
Oh.
Screencasting, yes, it can be used. Actually, I was there. You asked this question well in time. Yesterday, I was invited for a guest talk during an international conference, and over there also, I observed that few of the international speaker from Australia, Sri Lanka, and Saudi Arabia, they used their presentation mode to be screencasting. Means they recorded their PowerPoint presentation or whatever presentation they have made in slides or Impress, and they just recorded them and presented them. No problem. You can present your research paper using these tools. All are easy.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
I want to know about a tool which I can use for recording my laptop screen.
Recording your laptop screen. These all which I already talked about, they are all for recording your laptop screen. The process is called screen casting, and there are tools which I have already shown you on my screen: Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, or and this is Flipgrid, or your OBS, Format Factory, Loom. They are all used for screencasting as well as your own recording. Actually, three things you can do with all these tools. Either you capture your live face-to-face recording, or either you can capture your laptop screen only, or either you can have the option to capture both, right? Okay, wait, I'll do one thing. Actually, I should have a demo rather. That will be a better thing to do, because screencasting, Screencast-O-Matic, I'm just opening it and I'll just share my screen. Okay, where is everyone? Just again sharing my screen, and I'll be showing you how to record it, right? Google Screencast-O-Matic, I'll give you a demo, right? Tomorrow I'll give you a demo of another tool called Flipgrid, but tomorrow, today's Screencast-O-Matic. Means all the 5-6 tools I mentioned here, all are used for the same thing, right? You choose which are you comfortable with, right? So I'll be okay. Screencast-O-Matic. I just logged in with my Google account. Now launch recorder button is on the right hand side top. I'm just launching my recorder. It has asked me to open my recorder. May I know who am I talking to? Who has asked this wonderful question?
Deepti Sethi.
Okay. Yeah, Deepti Sethi. Okay. It is launching a recorder. This is Screencast-O-Matic, Deepti. Screencast-O-Matic.com. It allows you to create 15 minutes of free recording, but they insert a small like a watermark of their company in the video. That is it has been recorded by using their video recorder. So it's fine with us because we are not doing anything for commercial gains. But if you want to do anything commercial, if you don't want any caption on your video, then you can purchase their licenses also. They're all like not very hefty. Okay, so here, Deepti, can you see this screen recorder on
Yes.
your screen opening? Na? Okay, so I'll be opening my screen. Okay, I should have a white background rather. I should open something on Pixabay. I'm actually teaching you many things now. Pixabay is a repository for free images. Animals, maybe. With animals, maybe some. Okay, some animals. I want to record this screen, right? So on Screencast-O-Matic, I have this screen recorder I've downloaded and immediately opened it. Now here is a record button, and maximum time, because I have a license for it, so it's none. But if you use it for free, you don't have any license for it, even then it will appear like this. This is 15-minute for free record, right? Okay, Dipti?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 15-minute it provides free, no problem at all, right? But I have a license for it, so it is taking me to maximum limit, no problem. Full screen, if you want to record full screen, option is there. Or if you want to record a particular window, the option is there. Your which mic you are using, if it's coming green, it means it is recording your voice also, right? Audio, I don't want computer extra audio, so it's enough with me. I'm using a mic. Right, here is the recording button which I need to press. But before that, I'll show you three options, Dipti. First is screen. In this way, you can record your screen. Second is webcam. When you switch to webcam, then it will allow me to record through camera, and that I'll be recorded. Okay, right now it cannot record me because I am using the camera in your Meet app. Right, so I have to switch off that first. Okay, it's done. Okay, so many options are there. First is your webcam, or okay, another is both, that I want to record my webcam as well as my screen. On the right down there, here is my webcam where my picture will appear, and other I'll be also recording screen. Right now I just want to show you how you can record your laptop screen. I'll just switch it on, right? 3, 2, 1. Okay, hello Dipti. Here are the demo to some free images in the Pixabay, and it's a wonderful site to download license-free images with some wonderful freedom. Thank you. I'm just stop my recording here. Done. I've just presses the record button. Done. I want to save it. It will open another window. It has captured my screen. I'll just preview what have been recorded. Okay, Dipti? Okay. Hello, Dipti. Here are the demo to some free images in the Pixabay, and it's a wonderful site to download license-free images with some wonderful freedom. Thank you. I'm just. Is it okay, Dipti? I have captured it. Okay, now I'll make a video file, click on the video file, and I'll just publish it. What will happen? It will take few seconds to record it. This MP4, there was option of MP4 or AVI format. Say MP4 is the lighter one. I just have already chosen that. So it will publish the video. It will appear on my screen. Wait, I think it's done. Done. Okay. I'm just closing it, and here you see the recording. It has been recorded and it is visible on my desktop. All right, I'll be showing you. This is only 5.66 MB. MP4 files are generally lighter, right? It will open the same video. Oh, I just mistakenly clicked it. Okay. Hello, Dipti. Here are the demo to some free images in the Pixabay, and it's a wonderful site to download license-free
Yes, sir. It's an amazing application. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So we'll be. Okay. I'll just click it up.
Sir, can I have one question, if time
Yes, please.
permits?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
How do we edit it? Edit.
Edit. Okay. Actually, we could have edited it before publishing it, right?
Yeah.
So once we do publishing it, it cannot be edited. Yes. To edit it, Format Factory and the OBS, they are there to edit. But for the purpose of education, we use these tools like Screencast-O-Matic or the Screencastify or Flipgrid. There is only small editing options available, like cropping the video from one end or second end. It's like small options. But if you want to edit a video in means like overlaying something on that, multiple layers and all, then you go for OBS or Format Factory, or maybe one is Adobe Premiere Pro is there. Adobe Premiere Pro is professional video editor, which is being used by the photography purposes and the video makers also. But if you want to record for only educational purpose, then these lighter options are very easy. Only one or two options of editings are available there, like to crop your video from left or right, or means like voice editing. Some basic editing features are there that can be done only before publishing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Sir, once you publish,
yes,
click on publish.
Yes.
Save and upload it is there, no sir? The option.
It's there. There.
Then it is saved on the desktop.
Yes.
Is it?
I've shown you. It's saved on the desktop.
Yeah, but simultaneously I'm doing this. I'm unable to do that. It's not saved on the desktop. And the initial part and at the end, we are able to edit, not in between.
No.
So initial any pause is there, that part can be edited initially.
Yes, initially.
Initially. Only initial, that option is there, not in between.
Because it is very simple video editor, which is actually best and easy for teachers. Because if we are talking about advanced editing, then we go to OBS or the Adobe Premiere Pro.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Anything else or wind up? Yes, please.
Can we annotate using that?
Oh, I think two voices are coinciding.
Sir, can we annotate using this Screencast?
Can we what? Can we please repeat your question?
Just like we are recording a presentation. So can we annotate presentation using that application?
No, actually, see, whatever you are presenting, it is only recording whatever happening on your screen, right? So whatever you are doing with the command of your mouse is being recorded, right? And when you finish recording, at that time, there is an only option to crop a part of your video. There are many options rather. There is like edit tools, open video editor. Here is on the right hand side. Wait. I should share my screen first. But only basic editing features are there. I'll tell you. Wait. Here on the right hand side, you have a. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Here, open video editor is there. So in that, you can have any video and perform some basic editing. Not much freedom is there, but edit. Okay, so it is like this. But this video editing is more possible in the paid version, because in the free version there is not much freedom of editing, right? So it is like cut is available there if you want to cut some part of your video, and this rendered red part I just want to cut, and I just apply some other tools also, like transition, speed, replace a video section, or narrate, insert a particular recording here, and copy, cut, copy, paste is always there. See, I just want to see, I cut here. This has been cut. Oh, rather I want to copy, rather copy. And we'll want to paste it again somewhere. So the tools like, and I want to hide something. This is all done, and replace this video. This is like done. What part you want to replace? Okay, so yes, start and all. Starting recording. I'll just recording again. Okay, I'm just recording, and it will be replaced on my original video like that. Okay, so I'm just done here. So what happened was, here my original video was going, and somewhere else, see, this part of my video has been replaced by what I have been recorded here. So these few features are available in the paid version, but in the free one, only basic editing is available. Left cropping, right cropping is available there. It's like that. But editing is there. Okay. It's possible, but only limited one, right? Am I audible here?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, sir.
So I hope to catch you all tomorrow, and we'll be talking about more videos and collaborative flipped classroom. And today let's recapitulate what we have learned. I just wanted to again communicate you that bring in SDGs in your classroom, talk about 21st century skills with your students, think to inculcate those skills in your students, then think about the tools which are required, and then map your syllabus with your tools. I'll show you how I did it in my classroom. Tomorrow we'll talk about it. And next is creating a piece of content, how to design a basic presentation. Before doing it, just be aware about the cardinal rules, be aware about the copyright issue, be aware about the plagiarism issue, IPR issue. They are very sensitive issues, and then come to the preparation of a presentation or creating anything online. We have learned today how to create a simple word cloud. Word cloud, I have already communicated one tool, Wordle, word art. Another tool is Wordle. Many tools are there. You just type word cloud tools, free word cloud tools on internet, and you will see many tools are there. And next is mind mapping tools. Mind mapping is a wonderful, powerful memorization tool for the students, right? Create yourself first, then allow your students to create, right? And then we talked about the basic fundamentals of preparing a presentation, like using colors, shapes, how much should be the sizes, title slide, inner slides, and all about many basic things we talked about. And then we talked about a simple tool called Screencast-O-Matic, how we can record the screen of our desktop, or we record our own presentation, or we record both combination, right? So I think I'm done for today, and tomorrow we'll come up with the main again with the same spirit, and we'll continue the same.
Great. Thank you so much for a wonderful session, sir. It was very insightful. We had, I personally wasn't really aware of IPR laws and stuff, so it is very important as a tech company as well for us to understand this while we're creating content. Yes. And thank you so much for taking the time out to share your wonderful knowledge and insights. Some of the materials that were presented and they were just showcased by our students. I mean, they were fantastic. It is extremely creative, and I feel that if a teacher would ideally give the tools to a student, it would be amazing. The flipped classroom model, and I'm very excited about it for tomorrow. So, dear teachers, you can follow Amit sir on Twitter at the rate of Amit _NFU, and you can let us know about today's session by tagging HChat India and Teacher Tweets, and Amit sir, and letting us know about your thoughts if you're on Twitter. In addition to that, like I mentioned, the feedback forms link is there on the description. It's there in the chat box. It's so being displayed. So before you make a move, I request all the teachers to please fill the feedback form, because this is how we would be reaching out to you, and all the materials that were promised, that would be shared, being today's video recording, today's presentation, and all the other related materials. So once again, with that, we come to the end of the session, probably the last workshop of this year, and the final session would be tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And I look forward to meeting you all tomorrow again at the same time. And thank you once again, Amit sir, for facilitating a wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Thank you.